Hey guys, welcome back to Callie and Bean's Books. I'm Brittany and I'm going to do my own little segment called Brittany's Book Corner. So I'm going to be doing this once or twice a month, doing a monthly wrap up, showing you what I've recently read, my anticipated reads for the next month, and shortening some segments that the other two have done throughout the month. I don't read as much as they do, so I didn't want to take up too much time from the other videos. So without further ado, here are my July anticipated reads. So I shared two with Callie, Queen of Ruin by Tracy Banghart. It comes out on July 2nd, and The Year They Fell by David Kreizman. That comes out on July 30th. Next one is Maybe This Time by Kasie West. It comes out on July 9th. Sophie works for a local florist and has about 9 events that she's going to this year, as well as this guy, Andrew, who is a new local chef who's going to these events, and their paths meet, they have a relationship that develops, so it's kind of about how they fall in love and how their relationship grows. Next one is The Singed Soldiers by Tracy Auerbach. Comes out on July 23rd, and it follows this girl, Kiera, who's a thief, and she knows about these chemically controlled soldiers, and each of these compounds are different colored, giving these soldiers different abilities. And when this robbery goes terribly wrong, she's actually captured by these soldiers, and then she's thrown into this military camp and is forced to go through this regiment. And it follows her as she's stuck in this compound trying to escape. Different characters get involved. One's a bully, a couple other characters are trying to help her escape. So it follows her as she's being forced into this regiment and she's trying to escape these soldiers. Third one is one that I'm really not in the mood to read right now. I'm not feeling the contemporary. I'm kind of in the fantasy sci-fi world right now. But here goes nothing. Truly Madly Royally comes out on July 30th, follows Zora, and she wants to change the world. And she gets accepted into this prestigious summer camp that she's looking forward to. But so does a prince from an island off the coast of England named Owen. And they meet, and he actually asks her to go to his brother's royal wedding with him. And she accepts, and it follows her as she tries to learn how to handle being in the spotlight. And the Goodreads, it kind of says that it's a new generation's Princess Bride. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so next, I'm gonna go through my June haul books. Really excited. So I kind of dove into adult romance this month. I picked up Helena Hunting's Meet Cute. Follows a girl that has an interaction with her favorite actor from when she was a teenager, and a couple years pass and he actually has a huge favor to ask of her, so follows that. Next one, this one was a big one, talked about a lot, the Unhoneymooners. I finally got my hands on a copy. I went to 3 different Barnes & Nobles and I finally got one, so I'm so excited to read this. And then The Hating Game, which I already read, thoroughly enjoyed it. It's steamy, it's very cute, and I really enjoyed this one. And I was disappointed with this one. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but The 7 Ways We Lie by Redgate is another one I picked up from Barnes & Noble this month. So the last one I picked up was Seraphina by Hartman. I actually have 2 of her other books on their way from Book Outlet, but I got this one from Barnes & Noble this month. So last one, Archenemies by Marissa Meyer. I'll talk about this one a little bit later, as well as Renegades. So that's my June haul. So finally, my monthly wrap up. I read 7 books this month, which is probably the most I've read, which is kind of crazy. Some of them are pretty easy to get through, but otherwise, here we go. So like I mentioned, I read 7 Ways We Lie by Redgate. I will say that if I read this maybe in high school or early college, I might have appreciated it a little bit more. I just couldn't get into the characters. There was some character development with 5 of the 7, but 2 of them were just kind of there. Some of the writing style wasn't the best. One character's point of view was written in verse, but it also felt like she was trying to write it in novel form, so the mishmash just didn't make sense to me. Overall, it follows 7 characters in high school. There's a scandal where one of the characters is having an affair with a younger teacher in the school, so that gets brought to light, and it follows a couple others. It doesn't really mesh in with that scandal. It's just, it kind of jumped all over the place for me too. It does hit on a couple big themes that people should be aware of, but it doesn't explain what it is. So one of the characters, you can kind of tell that she's working through depression, but she doesn't actually say that's what is wrong. It's all over the place, and I was pretty disappointed. Overall, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I finally finished the selection series. Callison's very happy with me that I finally finished the series. I gave the Heir a 3.5 star. I felt like the main character, very similar to how Callison felt when she read it. She was very entitled, very uppity. She didn't really want to give the process a chance, and I didn't really appreciate that at all. She was very anti-boy, which was really weird. They were trying to win her over, and they were winning me over, but she was just fighting everything, and it took pretty much the last 3 pages for her to realize that her parents want the best for her. And I did really like how they pulled in the old characters that we fell in love with in the original trilogy, and seeing how Aspen and Lucy fell more in love, and seeing everybody, it made my heart happy, but Adeline pissed me off. And then we have a complete 180 in The Crown. It opens with her being a little bit more open to the idea of falling in love and seeing how these relationships form, and the ending totally threw me off. I was not seeing it, but I really appreciated it. It was really great seeing how her relationship with Maxon is formed too, because you don't really get to see her relationship with her parents as much in the Heir, but in The Crown you actually get to see more of her relationship with her parents, which is really nice. And seeing the development of her relationship with each of the guys and being like, okay, so maybe it's this guy. Oh no, maybe it's this guy. It was nice. And I was reading it as the new season of Bachelorette was being aired, so that was kind of fun to kind of compare and contrast those. So I'm happy with that. I gave this one a 4. And then The Hating Game, I mentioned earlier that I got this in June, and I pretty much read it right away, and because I needed to break up the Illuminae files a little bit. Absolutely loved this story. There was a couple of things here and there that I'm like, not a huge fan of. It's hot, it's steamy, and I really appreciated it. Follows Lucy and Josh. They work together, and Lucy's under the impression that Josh hates her, so she hates him back, but really they don't hate each other. So you follow that chemistry, and you follow how they have these little games in the office that they play, hence the hating game. But overall, it ended really nicely. Everything tied up in a nice little bow, and it was pretty great. I gave this one a 4.5. So next I'll talk about Gemina, the second book of the Illuminae files by Amie Kaufman and J. Kristoff. We talked about the Illuminae in our spoiler talk a couple weeks ago, so I won't touch on the series too much. This one just follows 2 other characters. So I loved this book. This one wasn't my favorite, but there were redeeming qualities to it. I love the relationships that were developed. The action in this one was my favorite, I think. Overall, I gave this one 5 stars. It was mostly teetering on the 4.5 to 5 towards the end, but everything kind of ties back together with the original characters that we met in Illuminae, which was really nice. And of course, I read Obsidio. The final book in the Illuminae files, also 5 stars. This one was amazing. Everything tied together. It was the perfect ending. It answered all of the questions I had. It even gave a really nice illustration of everybody together in the end, which was really nice. If you haven't read the Illuminae files yet, I highly recommend you do. So the most recent book I read at the end of June is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I gave this one a 4.5 stars. It follows Nova, she has superpowers, but she's anti-superhero. And there's Adrian, who is a superhero, and he is on the superhero side. So it follows mostly their perspective in third person. It's actually really interesting and a view I really like. And it follows their relationship working together, but but also Nova as she's trying to bring down the Renegades. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I really enjoyed it. This one, I really enjoyed it. This book was the one that Callie, Sarah, and I decided to read for the month of June, and we're going to be having a spoilery talk in the next couple of weeks. Our schedules are really hectic right now, so we're trying to figure out a time that we can get together and talk books. So that's coming to you guys very soon. Alright, so I am currently reading Archenemies by Marissa Meyer. I jumped right from Renegades to this. I need answers. I have theories, I have questions. I'm enjoying it so far. Major plotline was just dropped in the last chapter I read, so I'm looking forward to seeing how Nova reacts, how Adrian reacts, and how the rest of the team takes care of the major questions that I have brewing. So stay tuned. Probably next month. I'll probably finish this in the next week or two. We'll see how it goes. So yeah. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that little bell icon to be notified every time we post videos. Currently we're posting Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. Be sure to follow our social medias. Our links are down below, including our Goodreads. Until next time, bye!